Nerdrotic.com.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all other genders. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you live from San Francisco, California. I just had a lovely walk on the poop-free streets, and now I'm back to talk to y'all. I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody is well. And let's see who is here. Greetings, Canceled Jeremy, Jim C. Mikey Woods, Josh and Rebecca Moname, and Fred Dramstead. I think I said that wrong, but hi, Fred. How are you? Cake Man, Tenhauser Gate, Fox Phoenix Comics, and we have Jonas. We have Michael Henley. We have Release the Quacken, Dick 435, John Oil, John Connors, Trace Adams, SP4H. I'm sure that's supposed to Spa. Is that supposed to say Spa? And we have Father Christopher Miller. I probably did that wrong, but I'm doing my best. I'll try to keep the language to a minimum. Depends on how far I get when I start talking about the comic book stuff. Culture Casino. Check out the channel. It's a good channel. Santh Engita. Did I say that right? I hope I did. Charles Lane. And Holding Out for a Hero Girl. Oberon. Red Pelagging. AJ Borkar. And that's Borkar. And Doomscock. Doomscock is here. And I love you too, Arrowstone. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So this one is late today because I wanted to join my friend as he asked me to come on for his 8-year anniversary on YouTube. Sorry. And freaking the problems with the beard. That's the problems when you got a beard. Hopefully my lunch isn't in here today. And yeah, it was a fun live stream. We had Doomcock, Bulls Trek, yours truly, and Az. Those three guys, great YouTubers. Check them all out. I subscribe to their channels. I watch all their videos. And they are good people. They are good people. Fighting the good fight. The good fight. And some of us are weeks into this lockdown, and some of us are almost a month in. Hello. Almost a month in. And things seem to be going well as I hear sirens outside, but that's pretty normal for here. I hope they're going well where you are. There's a lot of them. Wow. Maybe something's going down. I don't know. And I'm going to keep an eye on this live stream because probably because a lot of people are on YouTube, they pick a live stream to ghost once in a while. And if that happens to this one, I'm just going to immediately restart it. Okay. So hopefully it won't happen. I'm keeping an eye on it. It looks good so far. We're good. Today, we're going to talk about the comic book industry, of course. I want to go over Brian Hibbs' blog, Tilting at Windmills. It's too long to do a single video on, and I'm not going to go over the whole thing. We'll just go over some highlights, but it's very good reading if you're interested in this subject. I highly recommend it. It's on the website, The Beat. I don't usually go to that website anymore because it's kind of shilly. But if you want to know what's going on, Brian Hibbs has a great mind for comic book retailing, and he breaks this stuff down. He's got some solutions. We don't agree on everything, but I don't agree with anybody on everything. So there you go. We're also going to talk about Hollywood. Hollywood's panic. Celebrity culture dying. AMC theaters possibly going bankrupt. And of course, we're going to talk about the return of Bob Iger. Who didn't see that one coming? Jeremy did call it. Got to give the man credit. Jeremy was right on that one. So yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone. And we'll let a few people come in. So we'll talk about the Bob Iger thing. I don't know if I want to put the article up because they keep... I guess it doesn't matter. But I heard about it last night when I was on the Inquisition that Bob Iger, Disney announced February 25th, Bob Iger had resigned as CEO, with the company passing the baton to longtime Disney executive Bob Chapek. Iger was staying on until the end of his contract as executive chairman to oversee creative endeavors and ensure a smooth transition. Instead, however, he's had to jump back in full steam ahead as the company he ran for 15 years struggles through one of the toughest periods in its history. The New York Times headline was much worse on this one. Let's see if I could. And the New York Times headline said, Bob Iger thought he was leaving on top. Now he's fighting for Disney's life. I'll show you that briefly. So that's not hyperbole, folks. That is Disney fighting for its life. And let me see if that boom. Of course, it's not centered, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's an insane headline right there. So the question I have is, how is Disney fighting for its life 3-4 weeks in? If we're 3 months in, I could start to understand it, but where are its cash reserves? I mean, hey, I'm not a CEO. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools, so maybe there's an explanation for this, but you would think that billion-dollar corporations would not be running on paper-thin margins, and I think this probably has to do with all the acquisitions and how strong the economy was just a month ago. Just a month ago, we were going through one of the best economies in my lifetime. So that's the question I have. Now, everybody suspects, rightly so, that he left because he saw this thing coming. I don't think that shows very good leadership, but that's my opinion. Of course, he denies this. I call BS. I call BS. Now, this is when we have to start talking about Disney's assets. I did podcasts on this years ago because I'm kind of a paranoid person. So I kind of go through life waiting for lightning to strike, and not the good kind, waiting for my world to get turned upside down because, quite frankly, in my life, it has so many times. That's why, the situation I'm in personally, I'm just taking it day by day. I don't have any anxiety. I'm with my family. We're breathing. I'm remaining grateful. And that's how, I keep the anxiety at bay. So, you just got to wonder why there wasn't that kind of planning. So I always had a little nest egg. I can't say I could go months, but I always kept a little bit. I was never good at that. But it was after I filed for bankruptcy personally a few years ago that I decided, no more credit cards. If I'm going to buy something, it will be with cash. I'll have one credit card with $1,000 on it for emergencies. That's it. No loans, nothing else. And that's how I've been living my life for the last few years. And it's been great. I know that, a lot of people can't live like that. I understand that. And I don't mean to shame anybody who's got debt or credit cards. Hey, we all do it. It's all good. No problem. That's how the world goes around. But I don't understand how a billion-dollar company doesn't plan for this. at all. I mean, you're in Disneyland is in Southern California. There are earthquakes there. There are fires there. And you think if it's safe because it's in a city, well, I lived in San Diego when the city almost burned down. So, and that's happened twice. Things can happen even in, nice 75 degree, pretty much every day, California, Southern California. So you think, and then of course, Disney World is in Florida. So you'd think they would plan for stuff like this. And I'm just surprised. I'm surprised. And I will bring it up again. Candace, Geeky Candy, reported that they had a meeting where they spent half of it on diversity. And the funniest thing, the reason I was a few minutes late was I was finishing up watching a John Talks video on this subject. And then the Disney Bob Iger masterclass ad came up. So I watched a few minutes of it. And one of the first things he decided to bring up was female empowerment and that kind of inclusivity and stuff. And that's all well and good. But at Disney, you'd think creativity has to be on top, innovation, and profitability. Profitability. And part of that is making sure your company is safe. So we'll see. If Hollywood does indeed lose the AMC theaters, that is a crushing blow. They're not lost yet. Filing for bankruptcy doesn't mean you're necessarily going away. I worked at the Warehouse Records when I was a youngster, and they were it was in bankruptcy the whole time I was there. And it lasted quite a few years before it finally went under. And it did eventually go under. So, yeah, I think Bob Iger coming back might be to possibly sell assets. That podcast I was referring to, that's what we talked about, is what if Disney gets in trouble one day? Do they sell Star Wars? Do they sell Marvel? Do they sell pieces of Marvel? Do they sell the X-Men or Spider-Man? Does AT&T do the same? Can they do that? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how it's structured and how the intellectual property is structured. Like if you sell Batman, if you just sold a character, that would cause all kinds of problems because there's crossover characters and who owns what and who. And so I don't think you could do that, but you could definitely get rid of comic book divisions. I don't know how necessary Marvel Comics is right now. I don't know how much money it makes, if it's worth the trouble. But there's this big cushion that Hollywood and the creatives at Marvel have been enjoying for quite some time. And that cushion was brought to you by capitalism. That's right, capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. It brought them this big financial cushion where they could experiment, where they could get political, where they could get partisan, where they could chip away at the cis white, male, straight, able-bodied fandom that had been the tent pole, as Gail Simone puts it, for comic books, the foundation of comic books for that long. And now you need every single customer you can get. You cannot risk to offend a single one. Bet your ass there will be social media policies coming your way very soon. You will see a lot of silence from actors and creatives at Marvel and DC very, very soon, or it will be their ass. And I mean from the customer, because you know what? We are entitled to respect. You know what, Heather Antos? You are a customer service representative. I don't care what you think you are. You are. You are on social media. The only reason people even know who you are is because you used to work for Marvel and now you work for Valiant, which might not be around much longer, which was propped up by apparently a Chinese company to fund films. Your last film didn't do very well. And quite frankly, you don't have that many properties that are I don't know how well they can do on limited budgets. Like if you wanted to make an Exo Manowar film, you would have to have a huge budget, or it'll just be garbage. It'll be a sci-fi movie of the week garbage. So yeah, you would hope their attitude changes, and it starts changing now. Now I have read Gotham High. I'm going to do a review tomorrow on tomorrow's Nooner. So the first 15 minutes to a half hour will be my review. I'll probably chop that and make it a video. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it because I'm working on my Picard review still. and it's horrible. It's awful. And I don't think it's as awful as Snowflake and Safe Space because it's a YA whatever, but it's 200 pages. It was grueling to read. I talked about it with Yellow Flash on his live stream. Thanks, Yellow Flash, for inviting me on. And I will be reviewing it. But I'm not going to dedicate a video. I don't want to put myself through that. It's, Picard is enough. Picard is enough. Let's get to you guys a little bit here. Son of a Wolf for $5. Hail, Gary. I didn't get a notification for this stream. Third straight time. Not surprised. Not surprised. I'm peeking at it right now to see if it's still up there. So that's good. I have heard that consistently now, and I ran a little poll with some of the mods and stuff, and they usually get my notifications for videos. I'm going to say that I guess I'm lucky if a third of my subs get notifications from YouTube. I think that is done on purpose. I think there's a lot of people on YouTube and they are throttling right now, but I can't, I'm grateful for YouTube. I am. And we're just that's the cards I've been dealt, and every other YouTuber. It's not just me. And we got to do the best we can. Sure, I'd like to diversify, but that would be less time here. And I can't create more days. I would certainly like to try Twitch out at some point, and maybe I will. Probably my first Twitch stream will probably be the first time I play Witcher 3, and that'll be the first video game I've played in years. So it'll be a hot mess, and I'll let you all know when I'm going to do that. It'll probably be on a Saturday. But yeah, that'll be it'll be funny. It'll be funny because I'm god awful with video games. Angel Grunts for $5. Cash reserves. Disney dumped 70 plus billion on Fox. Iger's been leveraging that company to the gills to push acquisitions and therefore growth. Yes. Yeah. So he basically gave Disney the big blue pill. They got a false boner going on right there. And that's probably what the problem was. Fox was a horrible acquisition and the government shouldn't have let it happen, in my opinion. You know what? I'm a fan, man. I get you. I want the MCU to have the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, but quite frankly, what we're going to see from the MCU, I'm okay. I think the Fantastic Four should just stay in comic books. And that's my party line right now. I am sorry to this very day that Disney bought Marvel. We got some really good movies. The MCU was fun, but it wasn't worth the cost. And the cost was the comic book industry. Flat out. The comic book industry died the day that happened. It just became a tool for Hollywood. Hollywood is not going to use it forever. And we've seen the comic books just go downhill, the continuity go downhill, the focus go downhill. And, people just don't want to just make comic books anymore. And that's a fundamental problem on top of using comic books for their own social platform. I want to work on comics to bring attention to myself and my platform and gain followers from it. I mean, Heather Antos probably believes all those followers are actually there for her and her wonderful, wonderful personality. And that is, she's young. All I'm going to say is she's young. I hope she saves her money. And she went to school. And I don't know how she thought those tweets were a responsible thing to do. And I don't know how Valiant hasn't talked to her yet. And then she comes on their channel a couple days later with a unicorn onesie on. What do you think was going to happen? I haven't even checked back on that tweet. I bet you it got ratioed to hell. Twitter was a friggin' garbage fire today, so I got off it as fast as I could. I am so over that platform. Let's take a look. Let's see where it's at. Miss Heather Antos. Well, it helps if I spell Valiant right. There we go. I'm not blocked. That's good. Yeah, they put up a tweet 8 hours ago. Which superhero would win in a poker tournament? And it's Harbinger, Dr. Mirage, Eternal Warrior, in Divinity, and it has 21 likes. I mean, that's what I get when I share a YouTube video. I don't get a lot of likes on my stuff, and I'm fine with that. Where is the Heather Antos tweet? Don't tell me they took it down. Where'd it go? Huh. What's the date today? Okay, yeah, it was probably a couple days ago. Let's keep rolling down. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's a bit ratioed. It's a bit ratioed. Let's show you real quick here. Fair warning. Heather Antos warning.
Heather Antos here, senior editor at Valiant, here to talk to you about this week's Hero of the Week, Exo Man of War. Now,
yeah. So we got 15 retweets, 93 likes, and 278 comments. 278 comments right there. I'm sure all of them are wonderful. Well, Valiant's been... Oh, they're trying... Oh, there's... there's Yellow Flash. Heather Antos said American customers are trash. I will never buy a comic from you. Why treat the customer... Yeah.
Because fuck them, that's why. Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
My terrible tweet that I put up while I was live. That's not advisable. I'm half American and I'm still welcome. Heather said Americans were the worst fans. There we go. Yeah, did you know your senior editor said American fans were the worst less than a week ago? Wonder if she is making the same grammar and continuity mistakes she made at Marvel now that she is at Valiant. Well, Brian, I heard she fell asleep on the job. She fell asleep on the job there. I don't know if that's entirely true. Oh, there is I am Andy J, I think. That's a big N-O. Go and find a practical use for that horn. Whoa! Woo! And there's VL Ned. The vid sort of makes me want to hate some country or another. Can someone remind me what it is? America. Yeah, I guess she's regretting that decision right now. Yeah, we're all blocked, buddy. We are all blocked by Heather Antos. So that's a good way to get the word out on your books as editor. You know, that's another person who was protected by the shield of Marvel and Disney, and now she works at Valiant, and she's finding out she doesn't have the pull that she had before. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Lesson learned, Heather. Tactical is practical 10 for 5 Canadian pesos. Bob Iger, Emperor Palpatine, seems similar. Hail, Gary. A blessing to listen to you after I am off duty. Thank you, brother. Hey, it's really off duty? Then be safe out there. And I'm glad you're still working and you're helping this world still turn and your country's economy move ahead and keeping people safe. Whatever you do, tactical is practical. I hope you're safe, and we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody out there who's still working. There is risk going out there now, and all the medical workers and everything. Thank you for what you do. We all appreciate you. We're all grateful for you. And, I wake up grateful every day. I do, even in times like these. I'm married to an amazing woman who puts up with my shit, has put up with it for 18 years. And she's known me since 1985. So we've known each other for over 30 years. Got a couple of fantastic kids who crack me up and make me proud every day. Yeah. And I'm breathing. I'm not living under a bush in front of a Long John Silver's in Encinitas, California. You know, it's all, I'm not locked up. So yeah, I mean, you know, I could still go outside a little bit. I went on a walk today. I might go on another one. We aren't limited on walks. So I might go on another walk. But you know, yeah, you know, I'd like to go to Pete's and go to the gym. You know, maybe soon that'll happen. Dan Howler for £5. If Hollywood needs to get money after the you-know-what dies, does that mean it will end all the woke reboots and remakes and make good original projects? They're going to have to. That's a very good question, Dan. Yes. Okay. Emphatic yes. So everything's on hold right now. Everything. I'm doing some research on Westworld right now, and it's looking like it's canceled. Now, I can't say that. It's looking like it's canceled. I've reached out to my 2 HBO insiders. One of them has said everything's on hold, which, of course, everything is. Everything everywhere is on hold. Picard, Star Trek Picard, talked to somebody about that 2 days ago. That is most definitely on hold, and it's not just a few months. We're looking, you might see if Star Trek Picard 2, Season 2 happens, and I know Doomcock is emphatic. He says that it will not happen. That's what he believes. And, hey, it might not. It absolutely might not. I agree with him on that assessment. But we're looking at 2 years. 2 years. Earliest possibly at the end of 2021, maybe, but we're looking more like middle of 2022. They're not going to be able to start filming for quite some time. Hollywood, like the comic book industry, now that it's stopped, you can't just ramp everything up. A lot of people were let go, so they need to rehire people, and they need to see what's viable because the cash reserves, I guess, weren't there. I bet you there's a lot of investors going, imagine all the people who invested in projects that had to go on hold. They're probably like, where's my money? Who holds that money? I mean, I don't know. I ask these questions because I don't know. And I mean, you see the money that goes into Hollywood, folks. And it's blasted to us every week. This movie made $1 billion. This movie made $100 million over the weekend. And, Bob Iger, it was 6 months ago when they were talking about some of the losses Disney had. And Bob Iger scoffed them off and said, do you realize what we spend on movies every year? It's nothing. He was talking about billions. But a lot of that's other people's money. That's investors, that's loans. And now Disney is fighting for its life. So how healthy do you think Marvel Comics is? If its parent company is fighting for its life and its biggest moneymaker outside of parks for film is the MCU, and the MCU had its biggest movie ever, and movie theaters lost money. You see all this happening. So no, they cannot take chances on Dark Fate anymore. They can't take chances with Captain Marvel anymore. You can't shit out a crappy Captain Marvel movie like you did that. You got lucky last time, Disney. Here, I know, was it New Rock Stars or one of those, shilly channels, did a video on, I just saw the thumbnail on possibly introducing the Fantastic Four through Captain Marvel. I could actually see that happening. And as much as that disgusts me, that you're introducing the first family of Marvel through a hack, completely subverted character that used to be good. Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel used to be a good character. Captain Marvel used to be a good character. I love the Jim Starlin books. I could see it happening because they're going to need that for that movie to be a success. And as far as comics are concerned, Snowflake and Safe Space, that was a one-off. That wasn't going to be their main thing. When was that supposed to be released, by the way? Hang on. I just got sidetracked there, but when was the new Warriors release date? Marvel. Kibblesmith. There, let's... Oh boy, I don't want to watch that video again. 2 days from now. Day after tomorrow. New Warriors will be on sale, folks. Probably on Comixology, so I guess we're going to have to do a live stream on that. We'll do a live stream on that. Yeah, you can see who I subscribe to there on the right. That's Sporking News, Preston Jacobs. Oh, there's me. And there's Mike Barra. And there's Preston. I was listening to a lot of Preston Jacobs last night. Just his summation of Winds of Winter release chapters. I like that stuff. I do. Oh, my God. 2 days from now. Oh, boy. Unless it got delayed, but I'm not sure it did. According to Brian Hibbs, everything was being released on Comixology. They weren't going to hold back much anymore. I doubt they'll hold that one back at all. Thank you, Dan Haller. That was a good question. Violent Science is a member at the Geologia level, and Wild Rose is a member at the Protomolecule level. Welcome both. Thank you so much. You're helping support the channel. Keep my lights on literally right now because YouTube is my main source of income right now, and because the wife's salon is closed. So thank you. Thank you. Sasha Tech for $1.99. I got your notification. Did you do a Westworld Season 3-5 review? You know, I didn't. Oh my God, I completely spaced it. Sasha, do you believe that? Yeah, I was up late doing the acquisition. You know what? I'll do one on Nerdrotic Live tonight. So I'll just do a quick live stream and rip it for about 10 or 15 minutes. So Sasha, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I completely spaced it. So yes, tonight probably we'll say we'll do 8 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be just like a half hour. So Nerdrotic Live, I'll just do it over there. Thank you, Sasha. I did cover it on the Inquisition last night, but I don't think Doomcock has posted it on the Harvey Zone yet. And that's why I want to try to get him in before we do the Inquisition. So I dropped a video late Sunday, so I didn't want to do it. But next Sunday, I will be live right after the show. Well, Doomcock will be with me on the Inquisition, but the one following, I'll do a quick 20-minute review before I jump over to the Inquisition. Thank you for reminding me. NA for $2. Witcher 3 pro tips. Get the Undying perk. Use Axii, and that's AXII. I will remember that. Thank you. Thank you, NA. I need all the tips I can get. Michael Henley for $8. The good Marvel movies were what Paramount planned. You are correct. You are correct. Paramount made the MCU, not Disney. Disney pretty much carried the torch and did it pretty well. Okay. Kevin Feige didn't fully take control of the MCU until Captain America Civil War. All right. So Perlmutter was still involved. There were still other people involved. And quite frankly, it hasn't been the same MCU since then. Their best year, in my opinion, was when Guardians and Winter Soldier came out. That was their best year. The Avengers is still their best Avengers movie. Infinity War is pretty damn good. I got to say it's pretty good. But I don't like Wasp and Ant-Man at all. Ragnarok, I haven't gone back and watched it again, which is weird. I've only seen Black Panther once. I've only seen Captain Marvel once, and that's all I plan to see it. I don't own any of those movies. It's funny, I own all the DCEU movies, and I don't own all the Marvel movies. And I know they're not great, but I'm a comic book fan. I am. At least the DCEU movies are not woke. They could be bad, but they're not woke. So they got that going for them. Yes, even Aquaman. It just Hail Gary, thanks for all you do. I like some MCU films, but I have no faith that they could make a decent FF film. It would be too woke and revisionist. Absolutely. I said it on the Inquisition last night. The Fantastic Four is unadaptable. Absolutely unadaptable. You can't. It's impossible. It's too fantastic. It's too comic book, and you couldn't even represent what makes the Fantastic Four cool. So many people turn their noses at the Fantastic Four, and it goes through waves. Some people love it. I have always loved the Fantastic Four. I can't say they've always been my favorite, but they've always been in my top 5 as far as a comic book. When I had a pull list, I always had Fantastic Four books on my pull list. They've had some amazing runs. My favorite run outside of Daredevil is John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four. I think that is pure comic book. That is pure comic book joy by an artist and writer who only ever wanted to do comic books. John Byrne is the heir apparent to Jack Kirby. He really is. Now, as he is groundbreaking as Jack Kirby, yeah, I would. I mean, he's not as well known as Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is the Beatles of comics. I understand that, but John Byrne can be the Stones, absolutely, or the Pink Floyd. John Byrne is he should be on the Mount Rushmore of comics. I believe that. That's, Clobbering Times. Hey, for $5. Hail, Gary. Thanks. Oh, I read that one. Duh. Thanks. Blue-Eyed Scorpio, $4.99. My favorite Gary. Ah, nice. Have you watched the Out of the Shadows documentary on YouTube? I have not. It's about CIA involvement in all forms of entertainment. I will watch it tonight. Blue-Eyed Scorpio. I got to write down 2 things. My pro tip for Westworld, or not Westworld, for Witcher. Witcher, NP, and then Out of the Shadows. Out of the Shadows. I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned. I write stuff on paper. All my notes go on paper. Everything goes on paper. I hate trees. Detritus for $5. Finally got around to reading Potter books. There are so many conveniences, inconsistencies, cool world she built, but wondering what made them so popular. Well, I guess you had to be a kid to read. I don't know. I liked them. It's the characters. As far as conveniences and plot holes, yeah, there's tons of them. There's a lot of contrived stuff in it, but it's about the characters. I've always been a character-driven person. I can forgive plot holes once in a while if you have compelling characters. I think that covers up a lot in storytelling. But yeah, I think there's just a whole generation who grew up with them, and I'm sure there's somebody who says that about Star Wars as well. But no, I get it. I get it. Nicholas Horton, thank you for the $5. Nicholas Horton for £5. There's those rumors of Rogue being the first X-Men character introduced in the MCU in Captain Marvel 2 as a villain. That would honestly be a step in the right direction, honestly, but not with Brie Larson. I love that story. I would love to see it adapted properly, but it won't be. I've lost faith in the MCU. And I know some will argue that Kevin Feige doesn't deserve that. He's only made a couple of hiccups, but you listen, they've laid the groundwork. You can see it coming a mile away, and they've been laying the groundwork for a couple of years now. Again, Wasp and Ant-Man. Ant-Man was a buffoon that entire movie. Paul Rudd was a co-star. I don't sign up to watch Evangeline Lilly movies. I don't mind her as a bit character, as a side character. I don't sign up to watch Evan Rachel Wood TV series. She's okay as a side character. She's no star. You have to have this thing called charisma and talent. And Evangeline Lilly and Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld have talent, but they can't carry a film or a TV series. Hell no. Vince Hickey for $7.99 asks me to please do an exozone on the you-know-what. There is something going on behind the scenes that does not meet the narrative. Vince, we did. And yeah, that's why I have to implore you guys. I know you're busy, but really pay attention to my Twitter. I don't fill my Twitter with a bunch of gobbledygook. I'll make a comment here and there, but I generally use it for the channel for notifications because all my notifications don't go out. We just did an exozone, Doomcock and I, and it's on my website, nerdrotic.com. You can find it, after you watch this. We did a pre-recorded exozone off this channel, so we were free to talk about whatever the hell we wanted, and we allude to some of that stuff. Yes, we will do another one, Vince. Alien Matters for $2.85. Always believed that New Warriors was an April Fool's joke. I did too. I really did. I didn't want to believe it. But once you get to know Daniel Kebblesmith, It's very believable. It's very believable. Astro Man for $12. Even an emperor may tremble before Madib, before he has the strength of righteous, and heaven smiles upon him. Lady, thank you, Astro Man, for $12. What makes you think, hang on a second. What makes you think that Marvel is going to change? I don't. I honestly don't. The thing is, before I even get into that, I don't know if I give the impression that I think Marvel is going to change. I hope I don't give that impression, because I don't. And we're talking about Marvel Comics. You know, we're going to switch back and forth. And we're going to switch back and forth between the MCU and Marvel Comics, but I don't think they're going to change. So, but he asks, what makes you think Marvel's going to change? They haven't shown any indications that they will. I hope you are right, though. Love the show. Keep up the great work, Gary. Steve Carroll for 10 Canadian dollars. Yeah. They're not. They are going to change, Steven, but it's not going to be back to the way things were. They're going to fundamentally change the direct comic book market. They're going to keep the best talent there. They're going to get rid of a lot of people. A lot of people are getting fired at Marvel, like a lot. If it survives, it's going to be leaner and meaner. And you know what? It might change for the worse, Steven. It could actually change for the worse. That's what DC's doing. According to Ethan Van Sciver, was on my show last Friday. Hail, Ethan. We had a great show. A lot of people watched it. It's on Nerdrotic Live. It was a fun Friday Night Tights. The show is kicking ass. I love it. But he said that's the direction DC's going in. Gotham High. YA. And they're chasing a market that doesn't want to buy their comics. I don't want to say it doesn't exist. There is a YA market that buys a lot of shit. Harry Potter. But Harry Potter had broad appeal. It did. Whether you like it or not, you had to admit it had broad appeal. And Harry Potter wasn't woke. But YA is primarily woke, and there's absolutely a market for it, but they don't buy American superhero comic books. And now you're starting to hear the distinction. Because when you and I were saying comic books are dying, people were going, they're not dying. Some of them are booming. And it was semantics. Brian goes over it in his article. There's a lot of facets of quote-unquote comic books that are very successful, but they are conflating. They're adding in manga and Scholastic. Those are not comic books. So that's a lie. It's essentially a lie. When you and I say comic books, we're talking about Captain America, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Wonder Woman, Batwoman. That's a comic book. A comic book is not blankets. Okay? A comic book is not Scott Pilgrim. That's a graphic novel. That's CalArt stuff. That's not really a comic book to me. I'll sell the stuff, but it's sequential art. But and art in quotes. But it's not a comic book. The American superhero comic book has been in decline for years. Brian admitted it in his blog that we'll briefly go over a little bit. That's what we're talking about. That's what's making the money for the MCU. It's not all the other stuff. And if that's in decline, that means your source material's in decline. That means superhero movies are going to be in decline someday. Do you think LFL or ESPN will be Disney's number one first sale? What's LFL? The LFL. Lady Gravemaster, what's the LFL? Is it what's LFL? Hang on. Once I know what LFL is. Oh, Legends Football League. Okay. Yes. The XFL filed for bankruptcy today. I think ESPN will turn into like an app, maybe if they do keep it at all, but ESPN's probably going to be done. I would imagine that would be one of their first sales if they have anybody who would buy it. Who would buy it? Who would buy a cable show right now? You know, Viacom is going through tons of trouble because all of their assets were cable shows. Like, who gives a shit? They you know, Westworld, for example, Tiger King just destroyed Westworld. Destroyed it. Westworld should have been the next Game of Thrones. Everybody should have been talking about it. We are all on lockdown, and it has its worst ratings. Get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. Westworld. We'll read one more and then we'll go to Brian for a minute. Carol Danvers flawed since Avengers 200 Annual 10. And though Perez and Busiek's Heroes Return run, where she was an alcoholic PTSD, she seemed real. She used to be a very good character, 200 Watt Studio, that I liked. And now I can't stand the sight of her. I just flat out can't stand the sight of her. All right, briefly, we're not going to go over this whole thing. We're going to jump in and out on this. We're going to go to tilting at windmills. Man, I got a lot of tabs up. Hang on. There we go. I highly recommend you read this. Okay, so Brian Hibbs is the owner of Comics Experience and the Comics Experience Outpost. That Comics Experience Outpost used to be the Comic Outpost, which I used to own. He is one of the prominent voices in comic book retailing, and he knows the numbers and in and outs. Now, we disagree on how to approach retailing, but, you can't deny the guy's success. He's been around for decades. Now, his shop has primarily stayed the same because he's played it kind of safe and smart. And that is one way you succeed in the comic book industry. Now, you don't really grow that way, but that is one way to succeed. There's a formula to succeed. This was supposed to be the annual book scan column, but the thing that shall not be named swept the world. There are millions of people with more serious worries than mine. There are people who are at serious risk of dying. Okay, I'm not going to read this first part. And I will tell you, Brian has a political point of view with this. He is a San Franciscan. Okay. He is a, born and raised San Franciscan. So he's got a certain view of the world that not necessarily everyone prescribes to. We'll just say that. And you got to realize that when he talks about some of the stuff he talks about, there is a political slant in that. The SF Bay Area was the first municipal area in the United States to shut down non-essential businesses. 3/16 was our final day of being open, and while calls for clarification seem to indicate that we can continue to do mail order and extremely limited contactless curbside delivery, the stone cold reality of things is that doing a transaction for a customer at the register takes seconds, while doing all the steps and work of a mail order or curbside takes minutes, sometimes as much as 10 minutes, depending on the asks. Our systems, our inventory, our workflow, our knowledge is all centered around optimized for supporting walk-in customers. It's all centered around and optimized for supporting walk-in customers. In a best case scenario, we've been working roughly 4 times as hard for about 1/4 the income. This is not sustainable, either for our own health or our economic picture. All right. Now, of course, I do not talk about the thing that has not been named, the thing that shall not be named here. I want to be a place where you take a break from that. I have a show where we will get into the weeds on what I think about this stuff and what you think about it. It's called the Exozone, and we will do it probably Thursday, and we'll let you know the time. But that's why I just don't discuss it. I want to give you guys a break from that because you're probably getting hammered with it every day. I don't watch the mainstream news. I don't watch 1 nanosecond of it, so I don't see that stuff. But I don't blame you if you do. We're not alone in this. I'm no one special here. But being in the Bay Area means we're a lot further on the lack of sales curve than most of my peers, many of which are just now starting to get shut down notices from their states. And it is my belief that no order will be lifted until all 50 states have done a full 3 weeks shutdown, while SF's current order stays through May 3rd. California is indefinite, and my current expectation is we will be likely locked down until June. I think, I don't want to say too much. Let's just Expect the worst and hope for the best. But we know hope is not a strategy. I also want to note that while mail order, etc., was strong for a week, oh golly, ding dang, sorry about that, was strong for a week. So thought not enough to actually pay, though not enough to actually pay the bills. It reduced precipitous. I can't read. It was reduced in the second week, and now that we know that comics printers shut down and that Diamond is no longer distributing new product, I'm positive it's going to drop once again. The CARE Act that Congress passed holds some hope, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then we know that. Both my landlords have told me they can defer the rent. Now, I know one of his landlords, and they are some of the nicest people, so I am not surprised they did that. That, of course, now he's dealing with my landlord's sons. I do believe, I'm not sure if John Tota is still with us. He was a very, very old man when I knew him. Sweetest old man ever. I paid $1,000 a month for 8 years in my location. And then he called apologetically to raise my rent to $1,025. $25. 1,000. He raised my rent $25 and he was apologetic for it, which is just unbelievable and awesome. And by the end, I was paying $1,100 a month. As noted above, the comic printer Transcontinental shut down on March 25th for 3 weeks. And that means that Diamond shut down shipping news items directly thereafter. And guess what, folks? According to Peter Samedi, who I had on the channel recently and I will have on again, Diamond is shut down possibly until August. No new comics will start shipping until August. So that means shops won't be back running full steam until next year. It'll take 4 months for them to recoup if they can. And if they don't recoup in 4 months. So the amount of shops you're hearing now is nothing compared to what you're going to hear at the holidays. And hopefully things bounce back. That's my hope. I don't know if they will. Son of a gun. Man, you click on that and it wants to go back to that 8 ways for whatever. Watch this. Watch. If you just click anywhere here. Oh, wait. Is it here? Oh, now it doesn't do it. You son of a bitch. Now, virtually every publisher has promised to not ship new comics in print or digitally until the crisis is over. Image should get an enormous amount of credit for being first out of the gate here, with Boom very close to their heels. But there have been 2 major exceptions, Marvel and DC. Now we reach the portion of my column that I've had to rewrite at least 3 times over the course of a week because things keep changing. Originally, DC's official press release statement talked in oblique corporate doublespeak. However, in multiple retailer forums on Facebook, including at least one that isn't private as any rational person might understand it, separate DC representatives had both used identical verbiage of "here's where we are on digital. All our data shows that digital consumer and the physical consumer are 2 different audiences. For now, we're going to continue to release digital comics, but we'll revisit this if the pipeline for physical distribution continues to be challenged and disrupted." Obviously, it's been an open secret for a long time now that there are factions at DC that pine to get rid of physical print periodicals. In fact, I was told that one of the very first questions that was asked by AT&T when they had their first post-takeover meeting at DC, thing that shall not be named, was, "Why are we still printing these?" I even sort of get it a little bit. Every other physical media other than prose books has moved wildly significant percentage to their income to digital and streaming, and that's because in those medias the actual difference to average customers in consumption experience is neutral to significantly better. But it's my belief that comics are significantly worse experience when they're not on paper. Now, I'm not going to flip back there, but if you remember what I read in my video, if you haven't watched my last video, please go check it out. Marvel destroyed comic book shops. Can comics survive? It's got the milkshake girl, the Gwenpool, on the cover. Please share it too, if you hear it. The New York Times stated how much of a percentage digital comics are of comic book sales in total. $100 million. Digital comic sales are $100 million. I think that's a bit high. But that's out of the $1 billion in annual comic book sales. That is including manga, Scholastic. Now, out of that $1 billion, superhero comics, pamphlet comics, more than superhero comics, just pamphlet comics, sell about $400 million. So that's what the industry really is. It's a $400 million industry. It's not much of an industry. It's a club. It's a scene. It's a scene. Now, Brian is really hung up on the digital. I honestly disagree with him on this one. I think if the customers want comic books, make your customers happy. If your customers hear that you're fighting against them getting comic books, if they want them, if they want to read them, I'm a customer now. I'm going to side with the customer on that one. Now, if a customer wants to be loyal to the comic book shops, and hell, most of them probably are. Most of them probably don't want. You know what? I'm not going to argue with AT&T on that one. I think they're two different audiences largely. But if again, you're in an industry right now, if things are that paper thin, if they're that paper thin, then you need to revisit everything, really. Like, is this what you want to do for Brian's stuck. He even says it in his blog. This is all he's ever done. He worked in a comic shop, I believe, when he was 16, went out on his own, started his own comic book shop. It's been there for 30 some odd years. Strangely enough, we have the same anniversary date. It was funny. Melissa opened her salon on April 1st. I opened my comic book shop on April 1st, and Brian opened his comic shop on April 1st. That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. So Brian doesn't have a choice. Brian will always work in the industry. If his shop closes, DC will hire him, and he could be the next Bob Wayne or something like that. He'll always have a place in the industry. He's a very smart guy, and that's honestly all he knows. But I think what helped me at my shop before my personal demons kicked in was I wasn't brought up in the comic book industry, and I saw it with a fresh pair of eyes, and I saw all the weird stuff that they did that people were just used to. So many people have a tendency, listen, I'm not judging, but a lot of people have a tendency to go, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it goes. That's just how the ball bounces. I hate that attitude. I don't live by that. I don't believe in that's just the way it is. I think it remains that way because people don't speak up. And you got to speak up. And we're showing that. You know what? The hashtag, the Fandom Menace, spoke up, got some movement, which is more than what any other, I can't say any other hashtag has done that. It got a $1 billion company to budge. Now, other hashtags have gone on and done their own thing, which is incredible as well. And I support that and like it very much. But we all had different results. And honestly, I say it again with the Phantom Menace, it's not like we can go and make our own TV shows or movies. We can't. But we do provide alternate entertainment. It's right here. You can, choose to like it or not. And, it's free. It's free. All right, we're going to go back. Jesus, I keep doing that. Stupid boomer. Stop it. All right, we're just going to hit a couple of more highlights on this. Like I said, here, let me show you how long it is. Still going. Okay, yeah. That's long. But I want to hit a couple paragraphs here that are pretty important. All right, here we go. But you know what the worst part is to me? It's the notion that DC and Marvel could actually take 6 weeks or more off to plan and retool and reconfigure their offerings and how and what and where and why they publish comics. They could eliminate late shipping and missolicited comics. That would be a great start. I know that's getting in the weeds, folks, but Marvel and DC have now they're predatory, okay? So they will come up with comics and concepts, and I'll open my previews magazine and I'll have a blank cover and they'll say Spider-Man comic coming in August, and it'll tell me who the writer is, but it won't tell me the art. It won't tell me the story. And they expect me to buy that. Oh, and by the way, it's going to be bi-weekly or it's going to be weekly or some shit like that. And they can't, you know what? A lot of things cannot come back the way they were before. Woke Hollywood, you cannot come back the way you were before. SJW Marvel, you cannot come back the way you were before. You need to come back Marvel. And I'm being real here. And this is honestly the final warning. We've been trying to warn you. We've been trying to tell you, you know what? Yeah, sometimes criticism is hard to hear. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes it's hard to hear. You come back SJW Marvel, you're dead. You come back Woke Hollywood, you're dead. I mean, it's that simple. They could eliminate late shipping and missolicited comics. They could build marketing plans that actually capitalized, I like that word, Brian, capitalized, on the local passions of local direct market retailers. Hey, Brian, see, this is the kind of stuff that even I got to laugh. I would love for that to happen. Marvel and DC talking to retailers. DC used to talk to you, Brian. The thing is, though, you would only give them your perspective, Brian. You would give them the San Francisco comic shop owner's perspective, not the comic shop owner perspective. And to listen, Brian, for the longest time, told me back issues were a waste of time. Were a waste of time. And you know what? I sold the shit out of back issues. Huge part of my income was back issues. And that reach out and work with us to structure and grow our audience in ways that make everybody stronger in the long run. You want to know why I sold back issues? You want to know why I was able to sell back issues? I have a secret, and I'll share it with you all. Don't tell anybody. It's just between us. Shh. I knew what I was talking about, and I practiced good customer service because the customer was always right. That customer came into my store to spend his or her hard-earned money. They chose me. They chose my store. That is the greatest of honors. If I had a red carpet to roll out for every one of my customers, I would have done it. And it's called respect. That's my big secret. So you can sell anything in a comic book store if you believe in it and you have knowledge. You know what? No, magic cards, I could never sell magic cards because I don't know shit about it. And I'm not really into it. But I'm into back issues and I'm into toys. So 2 things I was told I couldn't sell, I sold the crap out of. Had no problem doing it. And anybody could do it. Anybody. Because you know what? If you love it. All right, let's go back here. Sorry. Jesus. I don't know what that is. Let's say with DC for the second, let's stay with DC for the second and take their Generation 5 plan right now. As a person who might be expected to sell them someday, the you-know-what version of this line looked like a chaotic mess with messages and marketing all confused and muddled, especially in the wake of Dan Didio's firing. This moment of crisis on Earth real gives them a chance to fix all of that and reschedule and reposition and to build something that might actually last more than a single quarter. I mind you, you know what? A couple of months ago on a live stream, I joked that Marvel and DC, fuck it. Just gender and race swap every single character. Just do it. Get it over with. Well, that's 5G. That's what 5G is, folks. And then we go to Marvel. I don't think that our publishers actually understand just how much our orders are based on our faith to be able to sell to walk-in customers. Pre-orders are absolutely the metric and rule for a long-standing series. That means, obviously we order them ahead, months ahead, and then about 2 weeks out, they give you a chance to readjust your ordering. But when they plop a goddamn event on you, like Marvel does every year, with weekly comics that aren't regular issues like Amazing Spider-Man or Batman, and they're all numbered. These are side comics that I have no data to base them on. It gets tricky, and all the risk is on us, the comic book retailer. And by the way, Marvel and DC don't do any marketing. When was the last time you saw a comic book commercial, ladies and gentlemen? Try to remember. I'm selling 2 times rack copy. In other words, he probably what he does is he has subscribers. So say we have Fantastic Four, and we have subscribers for Fantastic Four, and we have 100 people who want us to pull Fantastic Four comics. So that is 100 comics that I have supposedly sold, and then I order some for my shelf, and it's based on how many, what the sales were, blah, blah, blah. But generally, for most comic books, I'll buy the amount of books for my subscribers. So say it's that 100 Fantastic Four, and then I'll put 2 or 3 on the shelf. And that's the case. Most comic books are sold to those men, those terrible men who subscribe to comics. And some women, about 18%. 2 times rack copy on a typical Marvel comic overall, but when it gets to new launches and they're actually a success, those are really entirely on the retailer's hope and faith. Since we had to turn in the final order cutoff orders, Brian, that's final order cutoff orders. You don't want to do that. For weeks that I knew I was closed to walk-in customers, and turn in an entire order for the month of May where I have to assume I'm closed, we went straight to subs only. The changes in numbers were illuminating to me. My thought here rushes to Empire, spelled with a Y for some reason, for Marvel. Marvel theoretical tentpole offering this year with an entire line of miniseries and tie-ins built around it. We originally ordered 30 copies for the first issue, historically extremely low on the scale of Marvel line-wide events. Yes, I would normally order 1 to 200. And that was back in 2012. So the fact that it's down to 30 at Brian's shop tells you everything. And again, a Marvel event over the summer, I would order 1 to 200 sight unseen, and then probably reorder another 50 if I could. Back when they were rarer and the line was less wide, it could never be less than 100 copies sold. Same here. But when I dropped the orders down to just consumer pre-orders, my orders dropped to just 6 copies. Did you hear that, folks? Normally, a Marvel event would sell 100, 200 copies off our shelves. And, a vast majority was our subscribers. This Marvel event coming up, prior to Thing That Shall Not Be Named, Brian had 6 pre-orders for this. I mean, look at the cover art. Look, it looks great. Isn't that Capiel? I like Reed Richards with the beard. I do. I gotta admit, I like that. Look at Iron Man out in front. Oh, Captain Marvel's way in the back, where she should be. There's Hulkling and Black Panther and Captain America and Thor and the Skrulls, who were done very badly in the Marvel movie. I had actually consciously recognized that I was bearing 80% of the risk for the series until I did the revised FOC order. FOC is final order cutoff. Like I said before, you order months in advance, but when 2 weeks before the comic book comes out, they give us a chance to readjust our ordering. I love that system, by the way. I mean, wait, why the hell am I okay, I love this part. I mean, wait, why the hell am I doing that if publishers don't have my back right now? Of all times in the history of comics, as I write this, we just passed the second Wednesday, now third, where it wasn't actually clear what Marvel was doing. I'll read that again. Clearer this time. As I write this, we just passed the second Wednesday where it wasn't actually clear what Marvel was doing. On a Tuesday morning, Comixology had a full listing of comics that were scheduled to go on sale. And if I look this second at next week's list, all of those comics are still listed for Marvel Comics as well. Taking this issue week by week is absolutely infuriating when the vast majority of comic book stores is completely dependent on Marvel to pay their bills. I need a drink. I've done a lot of live streaming. My voice is a little jacked. Now, we don't want to get in the weeds digitally here. Whew. It brings back so many feelings, man. What happens if, okay, so he's talking about like when they fire back things back up. So when things fire back up, there is a point where he goes, what happens if the 3 Batman issues were behind come 6 or 8 and they dump them all in 1 week? How are they going to sparse this out? So yeah, there's a backlog of comics. They come out weekly, and are they going to dump everything at once? I don't think so. Marvel and DC have already lost my faith. The former from not telling us anything directly and plainly, the latter for being weasels in how they informed us about their digital plans first. What kind of partners are those? Let me be clear. I'm not that worried about the medium of comics. He should be. Things were booming before the thing that shall not be named for not superhero material. But for Marvel and DC, for them to rebuild my trust in their publishing plans, in the raw viability of superhero periodicals in a post-you-know-what America, well, they need to work for those sales starting immediately. Things cannot go back to the way they were before, even if I wanted them to. These are the conversations we should be having, because his forced break could actually end up with periodical comics being significantly stronger, more focused, and more appealing to non-readers on the other side if we can rethink and reposition how we do business. He's fucking spot on. And the thing is, they're just not talking about it. They're just flat out not talking about it. And if you don't plan, there is plans being made, ladies and gentlemen. There is plans being made. Just not with the comic shops. And he tries to put a rosy picture. To the end, a number of direct market retailers have started a first draft of the kind of post-crisis changes that need to be made. So they're writing their own list of demands from the publishers. And it's cute. It's cute. And I don't mean to belittle them. They've tried this before. And I would back this 1,000%. But Marvel and DC are moving on. They're not answering your texts anymore. They're not answering your phones. They're like, why doesn't she call me anymore? Why doesn't she call me? She said she loved me. She said she loved me. That's in no way complete, and maybe some of the points are not workable. But we should be openly and honestly discussing all of them to figure out how to make comics better when this is finally finished. And we always want to make them better. We want to make everything better. And Brian's he's a smart guy. All right. I need permission to get in there, and I'm not going to get in there. So there you go. I was going to read an article on here too. And I can't. Ooh, Planetary. That's a good comic book right there. That's a good comic book. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. Yeah, Brian's, we don't, we're not friendly right now. But we're not enemies or anything. Listen, he bought my store. Weird stuff happened. We've talked since then. And honestly, the last time we spoke in person, we had a great conversation. And I thought everything was cool. And then I asked him to give me a comment for a video I was doing. He's like, I'll never comment on your channel, blah, 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 and that's the kind of, I've heard that from a couple of my retailing friends. Well, they're not my friends anymore, just on my videos. That's the way it goes, It's the way it goes. It's disappointing, but it's the way it goes. You know what? I don't judge Brian for his horrible politics, but apparently he judges me, and that's fine. That's cool. That's all right. I want him to succeed. I want every comic shop owner to succeed and stay open. Again, we want to give congratulations to Keith's Comics in Illinois. I gave him $1,000 last week just to help pay some bills, and he was grateful. He's a really nice guy. So if you're in Illinois, please check out Keith's Comics, and before this stream is over, I will give you his address and everything. I don't want to look it up right now, but I'll give it a shout out and support Keith. He was just a really nice guy. He sent a nice email. Everybody sent nice emails, and by the way, comic shops, I will respond to all of them. I'm sorry it's taken me a couple days, and we're going to do a second round, and I'll let you know when that's going to be. So yes, I will offer another $1,000 to you one more time. I can't afford to pass that, but one more time we'll do it because we had a couple of nice people donate to it. So I'm going to put that on top. Okay. So it'll be more than 1,000 actually. 200 Watt Studio. Thank you for the super chat. Jory of Melnimbone. Is it Melnimbone? See, listen, I'm not a lifelong Elric fan, so I don't know how to pronounce the last name. So we'll just say a Jory of Melnimbone, something like that. I'll go listen to an interview and say it correctly. But the only reason I got into Elric was because of a Razor Fist video. Geralt is a watered down Elric, but it's not bad. No, I think honestly, I see visually where they got the character, but I don't honestly see a lot of similarities outside of some visual stuff. Actually, Geralt looks a lot like a character I created. Listen, Geralt looks like the I forgot the name now, the evil elf in Hellboy 2. Kind of looks like that too. And that kind of looks like Elric as well. Yeah. Project Overkill is a member at the Jaloja level. Thank you. And I'm not saying listen, I probably subliminally designed my character off of Elric because I saw Elric in a comic book store when I was a kid. When Pacific Comics came out, they printed Elric, and I didn't read it because when I was a kid, it just didn't appeal to me. I was like, I didn't like the art. It was too, I don't know. The art was too, I don't know. I just didn't like it as a kid. I love it now. But I loved stuff like The Rocketeer and, Dr. Crow for $2. Starting week 3 on writing my comic. Any tips? Keep writing, Dr. Crow. That's it. I mean, I've written one comic in my life, and I just wrote when I was inspired. It's tough to write when you're not inspired, but that's part of the job. I would say take advantage of your time and just write into the wee hours of the morning till you can't keep your eyes open anymore. Drive-by commenter, $5. Hi, Gary. What's a good community to engage with if looking to share comic art and improve drawing skills? Well, I don't know if there's a community. I mean, there's Comicsgate out there. If you want to get into that, there are a bunch of rising independent artists in that one right now. That's the most organized one that I can think of right now. So if you want to talk to Mikey Woods, who is a moderator in my chat, or go watch any of EVS's streams. And what you want to do is you want to watch I don't want to call them smaller channels, the up and coming channels in Comicsgate, because they do more drawing type videos. I think I don't watch them all, but get with some of those folks. You can find them on Twitter. Now there is some drama that goes along with that, but it's easily avoidable. Drive-by commenter. Honestly, find them on Twitter, but stay off of Twitter. I would recommend just completely staying off of Twitter. And if you just want to talk to some of those folks purely about comic books, there's a lot of good resources. You can watch Art Thebert's channel if you want to look for that. I'm going to drive-by commenter. I'm going to put his link in the chat. Hang on. He is a comic book artist that I've seen his name forever, but I've never been able to pronounce his last name right. Cause I heard it on Ethan's channel. I heard it pronounced the way that I've been calling him Thebert, but I guess it's wrong. My bad. Art. But there's his channel. Check him out. Damn good comic artist though. And that would be the person you talk to. But you keep drawing, keep practicing. But actually, and start your own platform if you want. Start showing it off on Instagram or Twitter. That's what I do. And listen, you start with 0 followers, drive by. I did. I start with 0 subscribers. Work consistently and do not sweat the comments. They're going to suck at first. They're going to tear you apart. The first comment I got was, I suck, basically. That's fine. I did. I probably do now still. So, yeah. Where'd it go? Hang on a second. One moment, folks. Okay, good. By the way, Super Chat Square Up for Friday Night Tights will be up on Nerdrotic Live tomorrow morning. Zero Duality for $2 Canadian. Googly eyes for Gary's beard. Thanks. Hashtag googly eyes for Gary's beard. Thank you. Yeah, I need some. I can just put them right here. Sci-Fi Roundup for $5. Will you create or recommend a web portal for artists and writers and print shops to all talk and create comic books together? Would I create one? I would not be a good person to create one. No, I'm sorry. Unfortunately not. I would recommend I don't know where to find that. But maybe when my shop opens, we can revisit that. Right now, my entire focus is the YouTube channel. But that would be that's something somebody with a little extra time on their hands could do that. I barely can keep up with what I've got now. But I think, why don't you do it? I think, because I think that would be a good thing to have. Love the content, saved me from Picard, inspired me to pull out some old comic books and appreciate the live streams and getting us through. Respect and hail. Hail, Kevin. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. TBS aired Gotham High commercials all day Saturday. No way. No shit. Grendel fan for 84. You are effing kidding me. I will look for that. That is hilarious that is what they decide to. Well, that tells you that Ethan's right. That's the direction they're going in. Keller Ranch is a member at the Geloja level. Welcome. I welcome you. All right. So, your boy Zach did a video on this, but I want to go over this because this is dumb. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Mary Sue. The Mary Sue. We're going to go to the Mary Sue, folks. And this is dumb. This is very, very dumb. I apologize in advance. We will go through this quickly. Oh, look at that ad. Well, the post office might shut down. This is not good. Okay. The post office is not going to shut down. We can not alarm anybody. The United States Postal Service is a federally funded government agency. No shit. And we take for granted, oh, do we, as a utility that will always be there, like roads or water. But the National Post Office is in dire danger. A great deal of the USPS's budget comes from stamps. And with mail volume, which is already low before the you-know-what, dropping 1/3 since the national you-know-what, the post office is running out of money at this time. The post office is, all respect to the men and women at the post office. It's not a finely oiled running machine. Let's just say that. Mrs. Nerdrotic just went there. And you've all had a customer service experience at the post office. See, the post office is in limbo because it's half it has to run by itself, and it's still a government agency, so it still has some of those attitudes, and that's always been its problem, is the attitudes. A lot of people are overworked there. They probably need more staff, and we'll get into this. The USPS has requested funding from the federal government to the tune of $89 million. This is to make up for the future losses as well as current shortfalls in budget, which total $67 billion, with $13 million alone hitting this month amid the thing that shall not be named. One-party lawmakers are all for giving this essential service the money they need. Of course they are. Let's just give everybody the money. And maybe they should, I don't know. At the time when America needs the Postal Service more than ever, the reason we are so needed is having a devastating effect on our business. Megan J. Brennan, the Postmaster General, told the New York Times the sudden drop in mail volumes, our most profitable revenue stream, is steep. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of people ordering off of, now I know eBay or Amazon doesn't use the post office, and that might be behind it, but I know a lot of people on eBay do, and eBay sales are up. Now, I guess it's not enough to help them, but it's getting to the reasons. We understand there's a problem. There has to be a solution for that. Now, at this time, I don't want to talk about politics on this, but we are going to talk about one thing. Doesn't matter what side you're on. The sudden drop in mail volumes, our most profitable revenue stream, is steep and may never fully recover. I think it might. The post office was never again run very well. I wish it was. I use it. I used it today. I don't know, but it's failing because Orange Man bad. So what? The post office will get funded, folks. It's going to be something that's going to be running. It is treated like a utility. A lot of this is hyperbole, but the whole point of this article is where they get to this. Because Orange Man is a garbage president. That's why. Orange Man failed businessman. He's a failed businessman and failing president. Doesn't like the Postal Service and thinks they can fix everything by just charging a bit more for their packages. They lose money every time they deliver a package for Amazon or these other internet companies. Our horrible president says, if they'd raise their prices by actually a lot, then you'd find out that the post office could make money or break even. The fact that the post office is losing money on packages they're delivering for Amazon is entirely the post office's fault. I'm sorry, but listen, honestly, I don't know how much. Yeah, I guess Amazon uses the post office. I was like, I usually get UPS from Amazon, but I guess they do use the post office for smaller stuff. But why? Who hates the post office? I don't know. Have you been to the post office? I used to have to go there quite a bit when I was running a comic shop. I did eBay sales, and I was going to one in particular in San Francisco, and it was a miserable experience. It was an absolute miserable experience. I mean, yes, we all hate going to the post office, but now more than ever, the mail is essentially for socially distant commerce and just staying at home and alive. The answer, of course, is one party hates everybody. That's it. One party and small government, blah, 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 conservatives who want rather no one to take care of and have things like roads or healthcare, all of the privilegization of the post office and they've had for years. Okay, so I'm sorry, I can't read. The privatization of the post office and have been for years. They see the USPS as a burden, but also a way for business to make more money, and would rather see bad service and higher prices that benefit them than actually fund the service for all Americans to use. So the post office isn't a utility. You said it in this article. It's not a utility. This is Twitter logic, by the way. I mean, why would you charge more for something to make more money? That is awful. Yeah, it kind of sucks in these times, but if they want to stay in business, and you know what, if companies like Amazon are using them and they have to use them, if you're going to get that kickback from Amazon in turn from the Amazon customer, then yes, you charge more. That's the way it works. Guess what? I live in San Francisco. I have to pay more for fucking everything. I just told the story. I went to, again, don't judge me for this. We couldn't go to In-N-Out one night and because the line was too long. So we went to Carl's Jr. and for all four of us to eat Carl's Jr. it was $65. $65. I mean, I'll never do that again. But yeah. It might be very hard politically for the orange man to kill the post office, even if he wants to. Hashtag save the post office. See, this is what I wanted to get to. Is this is where these people actually think they're making the world a better place. The women at the Mary Sue are Rosa Parks because they are writing an article about hashtag save the post office. Has been trending on Twitter all day, which makes it important. Again, what I was talking about earlier, I didn't see Save the Post Office trending because I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't aware of this because Twitter is not the effing world. And thank God, as people realize how bad the situation is, it's clear this agency needs aid, which should be part of any new stimulus bill. Okay, yeah. And I love that logic on display. I really do. I really fucking do. It makes my brain hurt. It makes my brain hurt. Uh-oh. Some body painters got banned on Twitch. What are we going to do? Yeah. Well, that's interesting. No shit. Star Wars editor details Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi attempted to consciously undo The Force Awakens. I see that in print. And I just go, yeah, yep. I'm not surprised. Markley didn't beat around the bush. She stated, I couldn't agree more. It's very strange to have the second film so consciously undo the story of the first one. That's what it felt like. And is that JJ's? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's JJ's editor. Yeah, no shit. No shit. I mean, hail Bounding into Comics and hail John F. Trent. We love you, man. He was on last Friday as well. To you guys. Not going to be a super duper long one today. I mean, because I am torched and I have to do 2 more live streams. I got to do a member stream either tonight or tomorrow. And I have to do the Super Chat Square Up. But then we'll be back on time, regular nooner time tomorrow for sure. Keller Ranch, thank you for joining the Geloja level. I welcome you. Stasios Pantazis for $4.99. Gary, you are speaking facts today. I don't know if you remember, but I'm the kid that let you have a birthday party at your shop. Miss you, Gary. No way. Stasio. No. Yeah. Whoa. Holy shit. What's up? I mean, God, you're a kid. Sorry. I mean, holy crap. Yes. So when I talked about that was the first one, by the way, Stasio. Your mom was the one who gave me the idea. Hail, Stasio. So Stasio, the young man here, had a birthday party at my comic shop. That was my first kid's birthday party. So hail. I'm glad to see you're still around and hope you're safe. Good luck. Cultural Casino gives me a phallic unicorn. Thank you. It's nice to have a phallic flopping around out there. I do appreciate it. R. Fletch for $2. Neither wind nor rain. Exactly. they're so goddamn stupid. Sorry to get semi-political there. I usually don't do that, and I don't. I don't care what side you're on. I really don't. We need the post office, and if we need to give them a few bucks, fine. But I'll tell you, I'm not big on taxes. I'm not. I'm really a big merit, capitalism, taxation is theft kind of person. Free will, free expression, all that stuff. You be you, whatever. But I mean, like, listen, we're in different times right now. So I want people to get help first. That's who needs to get, the people who need help the most. I want them to get help. Quite frankly, I don't need help. And if they're going to offer me, or my family $1,000 or something like that, I promise you folks, I am donating that. I'm going to give it to somebody or something that needs it. We're okay. I'd rather have somebody who needs it have it. It's not much. But honestly, I wish we could sign a waiver and just say, please. I wouldn't trust the government though. I would ask the government to give it to somebody else. Somebody who's lost a job or something like that. Please, I don't need it. If I need, I wouldn't be afraid to ask if I needed it. But it's like $1,200 or something like that. And I don't think we're going to qualify anyway. But I'll donate it to somebody or a church or AA or something. I've been going to my local comic store in New York since 1985. No joke. And now the owner thinks he might not survive the 1-2 punch of isolation and SJW culture cancer. Heartbreaking. George Hartnanger Hangarter for $9.99. George, let me know who that comic shop is, because it's good to hear that comic shops owners are aware of the SJW cancel culture. That is important that we hear that. That's a long time, man. One of the first comic shops was here in San Francisco. The San Francisco Comic Book Company Incorporated. And it's run by a guy named Gary Arlington. And if it was not the first, it was one of the first. It's in Wikipedia, it's considered one of the first. And it's funny how it doesn't get mentioned in a CBR article. It was CBR, right? It was, or maybe it was Screen Rant. It might have been Screen Rant. And it was Screen Rant. Yep. I'm going to pull that up. They give a brief history on the direct market, and they, God, people are still talking about Birds of Prey. Who gives a shit? It's a shitty movie. It's not getting a sequel. I don't care what the freaking director says. Oh, there it is. Oh, and then we got a Torchwood article that we'll go over before we go. Yes, some Doctor Who Torchwood stuff. Very interesting, actually. So if we go here, briefly go over this. Boop-a-doo. Just what is the direct market in comics and where did it come from? With the thing that shall not be named besieging the comic book industry, just what is the direct market? Where did it come from? And where is it going? With the thing that shall not be named grinding the comic book industry to a halt, there has been much talk about what is to be done with the direct market. But just what exactly is the direct market? And how did it come to be? And perhaps more pressing, what will happen to the direct market post you know what? Well, it's going to change fundamentally. Believe it or not, there was a time when comic books were purchased outside of comic book shops, carried by newsstands, grocery stores, and even gas stations. How is this funny? This is cute. However, the comic book shop model, primarily engineered by Phil Swirling in 1972, offered that. See, wrong. Come on, do your research, Screen Rant. Richard, I'm going to look you up now, dude. Are you a youngster or oldster? Who are you? Where are you? Can I find your Richard? No. Okay, folks. No. Whoops. There we go. Hang on. I'm going to look up, I got to look up a quick thing here. I got to find Gary Arlington. There it is. Right here. Gary Arlington. I got to pull up a different window. Gary Arlington, born in 1938, October 7th, was an American retailer, artist, editor, and publisher who became a key figure in the underground comics movement of the 1960s and 70s as the owner of one of America's first comic book stores, the San Francisco Comic Book Company, located in San Francisco's Mission District. By the way, that store was opened in 1969, and it was there until very recently. I would say about 8 years ago. The thing is, when Gary was dying, people were circling this guy like vultures because they wanted his comic collection. His comic collection was mythical, like what he had. Like probably one of the best comic collections. I don't know what came of it. I don't know what happened to it. I know it existed. I know there was talks of him selling it, and I know the number was ridiculous even 10 years ago. Like I couldn't even consider it. But he talked to sleazebags like Robert Crumb. I know some people like him, but the guy was a sleazebag, and others. But yeah, he was essentially your first comic store. That's your comic store prototype. So these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Sorry. Nope. Get it straight, please. R. Fletch. Thank you for, hang on a second. That just popped right in front of me. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate it, buddy. And George, thank you for the super chat. And we got Chris Mead. Says, Lord of the Rings fan, try Belgrade by David Eddings. Super fun read. Okay. Yes, I am a Lord of the Rings fan, so I will try that. I will try it. What is it? Belgrade. Cool. I'll try it. Most definitely. Love you, Gary. Love Lord Doomcock. Never. Oh man, it just jumped on me. Hang on. Why did it do that? Lala Papa says, Gary Arlington, I would buy anything from that store as long as it didn't sell anything that was Tess Fowler comics. Yeah. When I open my, well, I'm not going to carry new stuff, but I'm not going to carry anything by Tess Fowler, Gail Simone, Mark Waid, Dan Slott. I'm okay. Yeah, I can, because I'm going to be selling a lot of older comics. That's a lot of modern shit I can live without. The Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell says, Zealot Zero. I will check it out. Thanks for the recommendation. Research is so like 1980s, dude. Says Sean Allen. I know, right? Why would you do research? Fucking boomer. Okay, boomer. It's pronounced, okay, Belgariade. Thank you, Theta. Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to get that with an I. See, that's why I need to hear that stuff. It also needs to be spelled correctly. That always helps. But hey, listen, I'm not judging. I know you're concentrating on the Picard video at the moment, but do you have any info on when the Zikri interview will land? Nick, when I get a moment, I'm probably just going to put it on Nerdrotic Live, and I'll do it this week. So let's shoot for Wednesday. We'll shoot for day after tomorrow. I have it edited now. I could put it up. But the timing was just bad. And that's why, honestly, that's why I did it. I wanted to interview with them, but they hit me up. I said yes. And I'm not big on interviews. I'm not. I'll do the Peter Cimetti thing if you want to come on my live stream and bullshit with me for a couple hours, but the recorded thing, I'm not into it. I should have had it out sooner though, but I will try to give him a bump on his crowdfunding. The thing is, I am very particular when it comes to bringing on things that are going to be crowdfunded projects. I'll help my friends as much as possible, but you guys aren't a bank. You're just not. So that's the way I see it. I'll bring on Ethan. Ethan's been out there doing his thing, and it was great having him on. And, and we're going to have Anna on in a couple weeks. Anna's going to come on Friday Night Tights, and she'll be pitching her book. It'll be a week from this Friday, I think. And then, then we'll do the Zikri thing. So I'll try to spread it out like as much as possible and not make a habit of it. That you have my promise. Nick, thanks for asking though. I appreciate it. Hello, Zacharot. What's up? Gary, also check out the Sparhawk series that, oh my God, Elenumium and Tamuli series. Also, think you'd like the Dreamer series from David Eddings. I'll check it out. I am more inclined to check out books these days and give a book a shot than a TV show. I'll give you that. What's up, Kevin Thomas? Thank you for, again, for the, wait. Thank you again for the super chat, Kevin Thomas. So, George Heingarter for $9.99. Me again. I'd love to give my local comic shop a shout out, but the owner's comment to me was in confidence. Okay, I got you. I understand. For now, I and some other oldies are doing a buy anything campaign to keep him in business. That is brilliant, George. I love that. That is the loyalty of a comic shop patron. There is no loyalty like it. And once it's gone, it's gone. There is no business like the comic book retailing business. And they're the best customers, period. No shop, no business ever had the loyalty like comic shops had. Nothing like it. Stephen Carroll for $5 Canadian. Memory Lane Books, established in downtown Toronto in 1967, Canada's first comic book shop. Excellent. Yes. Hyperion 9997 for $10. Nope. We aren't a bank at all. Nope. No, you're not. And he gives a super chat. That's funny. I get you. But you know what? These are not things I solicit. I don't solicit much around here. We try to keep it fun, and I will accept donations, and I'm very grateful for them. But I would like you to, if anybody doubts, I don't ask. They're offered, and I appreciate it. Although it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask for things. There's nothing wrong with that. You saved me from watching Star Wars: The Fall of Skywalker today. I almost watched it, but you started streaming and saved me. Oh, you're welcome, James Dugan. My pleasure. Thank you, too. How do you say that guy's last name? Saberhagen? Saberhagen. Fred Saberhagen. Book of Swords and Book of Lost Swords. Is the third book Book of Found Swords? And is the fourth book, Where in the Fuck Did I Put My Swords? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hello, Gary. When do you think George R. R. Martin will release Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring? I actually think he's working on both of them, Brian. There's no way in God's green earth he could be taking this long on Winds of Winter. And if he is, I'm going to rip him to shreds. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for the guy at this point. He is in his 70s. He's in his 70s. He's in his freaking 70s. And he has had a very good time on all of the money, on all that money he made from Game of Thrones and Winds of Winter, which was us buying his books with the promise of he would complete the story. And with that attitude of, I'm not going to let anybody else write it, and it's just going to be an unfinished story. And then, he came out a year and a half ago and said, yeah, Tolkien never finished his story. He intended on finishing the Silmarillion. No bullshit, dude. No, he finished his story. He finished The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Don't try to conflate that bullshit. Quit fucking around with Fire and Blood books. Oh, you got me started now. Quit fucking around with history books. I don't give a shit about Dunk and Egg. Well, I do, but I don't give that shit about Dunk and Egg. I don't give a flying fuck about wild cards. I want you to finish the goddamn book, George, and you owe that to the fans. Period. And now he's locked down. And if that shit isn't done in a month, that means he must have had so much. Listen, it's going to be 1,500 pages. 1,500 pages. Do the math. So, it's been 9 years. So 9 years. 9 years is how many days? Okay, so we're going to go 3,000 for real. It's been 3,285 days since his last book came out. All he had to write was a half a page a day. So he must have gone months, and I mean maybe an entire year without writing a book. And I bet you he did. How long did it take to write World of Ice and Fire? How long did it take to write Fire and Blood? I'm guessing a year each. So that's 2 minimum, bar minimum, 2 years he wasted on those books. One of them's good. One of them's shit. I'm sorry. Fire and Blood is shit. It's terrible. And I've read all of his books multiple times. I've only read Fire and Blood once. You know what? Fire and Blood came out, and then season 8, and I don't give a shit about Targaryens anymore. It's like, they're great, awesome. I want to know everything else. I want to know about the fucking Starks. I want to know about Jon fucking Snow, who's still bleeding in the sand. God damn it. And it's almost been a year since Game of Thrones collapsed. It's almost been a year. I think Doomcock and I are going to do a year anniversary special. Book Illy for £5. Prediction: George buys Lucasfilm and decanonizes the Disney drivel. That could happen. If you think maybe George teams up with Apple, well, George could buy it back on his own. He could. If I was George, how much is George worth? Hang on. Let me go see what Papa Lucas is worth. He's worth $5.1 billion. So he sold, well, how is he worth $5.1 billion if he sold Star Wars? Star Wars sold for what? All right. So George is worth 5. He sold Star Wars for 4. George Lucas can live off of $500 million for the rest of his life. I think he could. I know if he pares down, if he minimizes, I think George Lucas, and I know all that wealth is in real estate and companies you can't get liquid out. I know. But I'm guessing he could probably buy back Star Wars. And even if he just buys back Star Wars to decanonize the Disney drivel and never make another new Star Wars thing again, I would be happy. I would be fine with that. Star Wars is dead. Star Wars was 3 great movies, a prequel series that a bunch of kids liked, but objectively they're very bad, and Disney trash with a halfway decent live action cartoon show called The Mandalorian. Great. Fantastic. That's wonderful. Disney, all those big plans, they are going to be barely moving as things go on. Okay. It's flat out. The parks will be their focus. They're not going to be able to spend tons of money on a bunch of blockbuster films. And we'll see. We'll see what they can do. I think a lot of stuff gets canceled, and they were just starting their streaming service. The only thing that's a saving grace for Disney is everybody's in this position. Every company's in this position. But Netflix isn't, and Amazon isn't. That's not entirely true. So, yeah, I hope George buys it back someday, but probably not. I wish, though. I wish. You really need to read Hugh Cook's Chronicles of an Age of Darkness. Out of print, so eBay only, but a dash of Tolkien plus a pinch of Douglas Adams. Why is it out of print? But if you say you need to read it, yeah. Age of Darkness. Okay. Done, Darth Sweeney. Thank you for the £5. Azeroth Hunter gave $20. Thank you, Azeroth. I appreciate it. Hail. R. Fletch. Guys, I am sorry. My voice is, you've probably seen too much of me. I don't know if I've been live streaming a lot. I almost canceled today's Nooner, but I wanted to go through it. I'm going to live stream every day. I just got to drink tea and figure out a way to keep my voice going. Thank you, Azeroth Hunter, for $20. I appreciate it. R. Fletch for $2. Watching the old Dark Shadows soap. That's good. That's weird. That is a weird show. I watched that as a kid. Azeroth Hunter gives another $20. Do you have anything to say, Azeroth? I don't see anything. I just see two $20 super chats. Throw a chat or something, and you can just say at Nerdrotic in the chat. I'll read it. I will definitely read it. So one more time. Keys Comics. All right, so the Keith's Comics I looked up on my live stream when I announced it was the wrong internet site, and I'll explain this. But I gave the money to the right store and the right email. So that was in Illinois, not Texas, Illinois. And here, I'm going to go to his Facebook page. He doesn't have much of a website. There we go. That's good. So this is the winner of the $1,000. It was Keith's Comics. There we go. Keith's Comics. And it is on 528 South Roselle Street, Schaumburg, Illinois, 60193. Phone number is 847-534-9436. Only call with comic book questions. If you're in that area, please support the comic book, your local comic book shop. But please support Keith's. And listen, that's the trap of naming your shop after yourself. I was, good for him for doing it, but that's why I didn't name it Gary's Comics, because there's always another Gary. And there's always another Keith, and that's why. So, but congratulations to Keith's Comics. I appreciate it. Oh boy, I'm going to have to cut this one off. My voice is like dying on me right now. God, I feel like I'm having performance issues. Shit. This sucks. So I'll be back on at 12 p.m. tomorrow, and we will do a Nooner then, and I will review Gotham High. And other things. We'll talk about other things. We'll talk about more about Picard, and we'll get in the weeds with Hollywood a little bit and the movie theater situation. The Picard review is in the works. It is absolutely in the works. And then, I don't know, whatever news pops up, or I'm just going to start reviewing shit. That's pretty much, unless some major news happens, I'll keep you updated on the comic book stuff. I'm going to start reviewing the stuff. Stuff I haven't reviewed before. I still owe you guys a Witcher review. Fuck it. I'm going to do a Witcher review. Some old, Toxic Man Flu for $20. This is for the Mrs. Gary. Anyone who can put up with you deserves it. Keith's is up the street from me. I'll drop by when he opens. No shit. Really? That's awesome. Hey, you're right. The Mrs. Yeah, it's tough to put up with me. Yeah, you're right. Toxic Man Flu. You're goddamn right. Take a look at Terry Brooks' Shannara series. Oh, I know that. Brooks is writing a closing 4-book series for Shannara. Oh, cool. At least it's your voice and not little Gary. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu. And Cordy to Christie, thank you for the $1.49. I appreciate it. Hyperion 9997, thank you for becoming a member at the Jaloja level. So thank you, everyone, for the super chats. I really do appreciate them, especially with the salon closed right now. So thank you. I hope you're all safe. And there'll be a chill stream this week, that I promise. And we could talk about Lord of the Rings, A Song of Ice and Fire, whatever we love. That's fine. The Expanse, The Witcher. It's all good. So the chill stream will be in the evening. In the meantime, the Nooners are as scheduled. Picard review will be out in a couple days. I keep saying that, but it's looking good. It's looking good right now. I've made some major progress on it. And in the meantime, watch my last video, which I released last night. And watch all of our friends' videos. Please check out Doomcock's videos and Az's videos at Heels vs. Babyface, Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, Odin's at Odin's Movie Blogs, Comics Division. These are all my co-hosts on Friday Night Tights. Check out the last Friday Night Tights with Ethan Van Sciver, our most watched Friday Night Tights. Now, my most watched live stream was with Doomcock when we were reviewing Game of Thrones and we had 24,000 people watching. My most watched, the second most, it's all Game of Thrones, and then the Star Wars review had 7,000 people watching, but we had 4,100 people watching Friday Night Tights. So that was a Friday Night Tights record, which beat last week's record when we had Critical Drinker on. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to keep that up, but yeah, just keep tuning in if you want, and hopefully we're still entertaining you. I thank you all for your support. If you could please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, I would appreciate that. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. It's all good. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Again, I am grateful for you all. And Kent Barnes for $2. Mix up some Gollum juice for your voice. I'll try. Oh, hey, Smiling Bandito. I will check it right now. I apologize. It must have jumped on me. My bad. My bad. I was almost going to leave without checking too. God, that's terrible. Hang on. We're not done yet. Wish I had a comic book shop growing up. I got all my comics from my local gas station until I was in my 20s and on my own. Feel like I missed out. Where are you, Keller? I mean, they're still around. But I guess yeah. I didn't have a comic shop I went to early on when I was a kid, and my mom wouldn't even take me there. And then I started going later, but when I was little, I was going to 7-Elevens. Keller Branch, thank you for the $5. And it's fun, said R. Fletch for $10. Yeah, it jumped on me again. I'm sorry. This thing jumps on me all the goddamn time. I apologize, everyone. So we have like 4 more to go here. And my bad. So Smiling Bandito, my apologies. Canadian $10. Been going to my local comic shop since 91. Same owner still. Sells to my kids now. And even moving a city away, we still go back 3 or 4 times a year. If he can't reopen, we lose a piece of our family's history. That's the loyalty of a comic shop, shopper, of a comic shop customer. You will find that it cannot be equaled anywhere. It's actual community. It's actual family. You make friends. It's something that gets lost in all the corporate business, retail bullshit. And that's why, listen, there'll always be some kind of comic shops, but they're not going to be the way they were. And you know what? I miss it. I honestly could say I miss it now. It's something, it took me a while to miss it, but I do. Do I miss it enough to where I want to open one up here? Who knows? Maybe. I'm getting close. The itch is there. The thing is, though, my focus is the channel, and I do get my fix of talking to people through this, which is great. Prediction. Thank you, Bookily. I read that one already. And Darth Sweeney, but Smiling Bandito, I'm sorry I missed that. My apologies. So we're going back to, and he said you missed my super chat earlier. I'm sorry you had, I wish I could refund that. Sorry for you had to spend $2 there. And I think you might have missed some super chats earlier, says Hurin the Steadfast for £2. Or is that $2? $2 Canadian. And I think I caught him, but thank you for pointing that out. And damn it, I hate it when it jumps on me like that. Let me double check though. I'm triple checking right now. Gary, did you get the support package I sent you? Audio CDs and moolah. You legalize the adulthood for $5. I did. Toxic Mailbag Thursday, brother. Toxic Mailbag Thursday. And thank you. Oh my God, you guys sent me some crazy shit. You're brilliant. So I can't wait. I can't wait to show it to you. Detritus, Gary. I like the Potter books and movies too, but I grew up on Discworld, which is similar in tone and not nearly as popular. Just wondered why, but you are right. The Potter has great characters. Yeah, Discworld is something I found later, Detritus, and appreciated it later. So thank you for the $10. Yeah, the Potter books, I think it was just the right place at the right time with J.K. Rowling. I don't think it would do good now because I think people are so sick of the SJW stuff that they might even see that as woke, but it was prior to that. Red Dwarf is the only sci-fi that hasn't gone woke. Rebecca Gold, I will take your word for it. But thank you. It's good to see you here, Ian Hale. Another Witcher tip. Every time you meet a new enemy, check the best, how do I say it? The best tray. It will tell you its weakness and best way to take them out. Also, Shani is best girl. Shani is best girl. Okay. Here in the Steadfast for 20 Canadian dollars. I will keep that. I don't know how you say Bestiray. Bestiray. It's Tiary. I just need to hear it. But I will check it out. Yeah, it'll be on a Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be this Saturday, but it'll be a Saturday. MCU goes down, the openly woke SJW Eternals movie. MCU goes down with the openly woke SJW Eternals movie. Marvel dumping on Kirby yet again. Yes, instead of making this beautiful homage to one of the people that created this world that made Disney $1 billion that they obviously burned up because they don't fucking have it anymore. They're going to make an SJW movie out of fucking Eternals. If you would have gone like full artistic, make it a Kirby movie, it would have been a beautiful thing. It almost should be a Pixar movie. Hi, Gary. I read that one. Okay. So those were okay. So I got the skipped ones. Again, I'm sorry I didn't read those earlier. They are literally invisible unless I scroll back down and scroll up again. It's dumb, but I found a way around that. I just didn't pick it up this time, but I'll do it tomorrow. Learn from my mistakes. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And I almost said my old sign off, which was, may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. I almost said that, but I'm going to say, not all who wander are lost. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Oh, wait. Again, good time to watch Babylon 5. You got it in there at the last minute, R. Fletch. Thank you for the $2. We'll leave it at that. Watch Babylon 5.